big problems.
So today we are measuring and cutting. These are our measurements. Plus, this is called your curve, the gap that you're gonna lose basically in between your cuts. We've got, how big are the boards? 3/4 or half?
3/4, so I'm cutting them 1 inch.
Okay.
1 inch plug. But, well, it's gonna be a 7/8 probably by the time you're done because of, but just for ease of measuring, 7/8 exactly because of the loss of the sawdust.
So this is a good cold weather project to be working on. We've been buttoning up an attic space. And this is our supply. So let me go show you what's going on with them. So we figure we needed about 24 inches to 26 inches to include the curve, your loss. And this was a 4-foot length of poplar for like 1068. And we're gonna run these up to the attic and show you our project for the day. He says he just emptied out this brand new can today.
Yeah. It was on clearance.
So we've been working on this house for a while. This is the basement that we ripped the bathroom out of. And it's come along, but we keep working and moving. Summertime came, we had to work outside. Fall came, we had to work on the roof. And that kind of brought us to this attic project. So I've been working, painting, and doing things. The kitchen is basically all done. It's ready to go. Here's the living room. I've been working in here. I'm trying to get to the floors. I did the floors everywhere else in the house. I'll tell you, I just keep getting pulled away to do more jobs. Here's the bathroom that I worked on. Here's a bedroom that I've worked on, and it's being used as a sitting room right now because I had to move all the furniture to work on the bedroom floor. And these are the stairs that I've done, but I haven't clear coated them yet because I was kind of waiting to tie it in with the whole living room job. But you can see it's been done up here for a while, and I've been sweeping and cleaning and creating dust. This room was the highly painted area, and here we are to today's project. So when we bought this home 20 years ago or so, we had no insulation up here. We re-insulated everything, did some touch up, and we found that obviously we could make it a little warmer besides the insulation. We got some 1/4 inch plywood, and this has, oh, 1/2 inch, okay. This is either a car siding or lap siding. It's got like the lap ridge on it. And they had originally just drilled some holes here and did blown in insulation there. I can live with that, but I did see that there's another dowel rod downstairs, so I may check to see if that's the same size to fill that in. So they did insulate the house with blown in insulation. In doing so, they decided to do this space here, and it goes, this is the whole length of both bedrooms. That's why I showed you them. And it's an adjoining attic. What they call those Jack and Jill bathrooms. This could easily have been a Jack and Jill bathroom. They took the doorway out, and it's just one, but these holes are 1 foot to 2 feet apart, the whole length, and there are 23 of them. And this is the same wood floor. It's throughout the entire house. It goes from sill to sill, all in all the same direction. I can strip this and clean it. It would be just like the bedroom because they had never sealed it. Just clean it with the Zep floor cleaner. But we've got to fill these holes. So we're going to have this more a finished storage space. It could be used as a surplus office space, storage, a playroom, and the best way to do that, we found, is to buy this dowel and cut it, glue the edge, and we're going to tap this block in there. You forgot your wood block?
Yeah.
So we need a wood block to put on top of the dowel, and then no matter what, you're going to end up flush with your board that it's going into instead of knocking it down further. I'm going to go grab that. As long as I've got a minute and I had to go after the lumber, I'm going to show you a piece of lumber we put in the floor today in the living room. Like I said, those boards go sill to sill all the way to the edge. This is the outer sill of the house, and they had to add this heat run, putting it in right here. And when they cut the hole there to do that, there was no longer anything on half of these boards here sitting on the sill. So some little kid up in the living room stood on them for years getting out of their dining room seat. So this is the next project, and I started working on this floor, and I found that spot while I was working. And they'd done it so many times, they actually chipped a piece of the wood out in its tongue and groove, so it's a bugger to fix, but the piece was still there. So now that's nice and hard, and it's gonna hold 300 pounds. See, right here, it was just stopping before the sill, so it had to go under, and this has all been redone. Nice and strong now. Just like the originals, it's not going anywhere. Now they did it over here also to be able to run heat to the upstairs and a cold air return to here just for airflow to the basement and over here. And it's fine. They didn't have that problem because the board's going the other way. So for safety's sake, I'm gonna have them do the same thing here. It's not doing it now, but I'm gonna have them double check that because it's the same style. You get a lot of exercise working in this house. 2 sets of stairs down to the basement. It's a tall, tall 2-story house. It's great. Oh, that's looking wonderful already. Here's your block.
I don't want that.
Okay.
Just break. I want a little short piece of 2x4.
Oh, I couldn't find a 2x4.
More exercise.
Okay, going back down.
That's usable and nice, and this will break it.
Yeah. I did want to say also, this is all recycled wood. We found a place that had shipping crates, and they were either brad nailed or the tops were Phillips screwed on. I'd really like to hit them and take all of their tops and not mess with the brad nail parts, because I spent a day cutting those off. But we got enough square footage to cover all of these walls all the way from here to the top, and to be able to make this a more usable space. And I think I'm going to attempt it again in another space someplace else. Here we go again. Lots of exercise. Good thing he fed me some rice today before we started. I had thought of a 2x4 in the first place. That's a nice size too, and it's a cutoff, so I'm gonna take them both and save myself a trip. Sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't. The same thing has happened over and over with working on this house. I try to save a trip running to Menards or Home Depot, and I get the wrong thing, and I end up going back. Always a pile of returns. So, just as I thought, he liked that one better. It's harder than this old dried out 2x4. He says it's from a 2x10. Just a cut off from something else. And in doing this, he's lining up the grain of the wood so that there's not this all of a sudden, you know, it's going to be a color change anyway because it's poplar instead of the pine that the floor is. But it's an attic space. It doesn't matter. I had told him if this was my house, since they took out one of the doors and there's this door in a bedroom, I would put that door here. And then you have the option of turning it into bathroom space with storage space on either side. Would be a smart idea. And it could still be done by the next people. Also, it would be a good spot to add in built-in cubbies too. That was probably the problem or issue that they had with it being a Jack and Jill thing. We figured with 2 children across the hall from each other as teenagers annoying each other, so they just took one doorway out. Maybe they rented a room out, I don't know. But you could have just built a wall in here to keep them separate. So we picked up the same kind of wood glue I use in my furniture repairs and such. It's Type Bond 2 Premium. It is got some weather resistance to it. It's indoor and outdoor, so it's not going to shrink and crack with any temperature changes in this space. And you could use a brush and brush it in. He decided, and you could even use your finger to just kind of spread it out. I had originally thought of applying the glue to this and pushing it in, but then you end up with excess glue on the top as it's going in, where here any excess glue is going to fall in instead. And these are fitting so tight, you probably could go without the glue also. It's just an added benefit to it.
You probably couldn't get away with that.
And this is tight fitting. If you had a looser fitting, if you couldn't quite get a match, this is 2-inch dowel and it's a 2-inch, slightly less than 2-inch hole. Expanding glue would work. I'm just not a fan of it. You're already on number 8. You're doing great. My thought with putting these board panels up on the wall, you could cut them and do more of this to match. In real estate today, people are taking advantage of every square foot they possibly can, and multiple generations of families are living together. Added home office spaces, homeschool space, sewing and craft rooms.
Yep.
So in the end, this will have a more of a finished floor, similar to this. So it'll be a little lighter. The craft paper backing absorbs a lot of light, and we'll put extensions like I have here on everything to make up for that space, to bring that out more. And then everything will be painted white from the floor up to brighten it. Down to the basement again. I saw this sitting here and I I think it's a wood rod from the bathroom we took out. Well, here we go again. Back through here. Back up the set of steps. I think there's 13 steps on this segment. It's the right size.
What?
We forgot. They did blown insulation here. So you get to do it again. That's probably 1 inch. Yep. They skipped this section. So this corner.
You have stuff?
Yeah, there was a rod in the basement.
How long is it? Long enough? Yep.
At least 3 feet.
Because it's going to be the same number. Well, there might be more. This is 16s. If this was 24s. Oh, this is
17 holes. I think they forgot to do the blown in on that last section down there. There's no hole. Unless they did it further down.
Maybe they had a better way to get into it.
Well, there's nothing on the top. Oh, you said there was some kind of cardboard on top, right?
Whole way stapled to the wall. They made their own new heavy cardboard wall.
Yeah. Yeah, there's a staple from it. And I don't know why, but they started to frame this with leftover material. This is replacement here, but it was just this, just like this. So I'll probably have to take that off to put up our boards anyway. So the reason for doing this, like I was saying, is the space we were working on, the roof. There was an attic vent here on both ends, and only the 2 unfinished attic space has 3 roof vents. So these didn't need to be here, and they actually made this area colder, which made the bedrooms colder. Better to just remove them, re-insulate the opening while we were doing the roofing, and have this as finished space. Then it qualifies to not have that vent. So if you make a mistake and you think you're not happy with it, just smash it down and put another one in.
Yep.
Because it's probably a foot between here and the next layer down. So this is insulating above the kitchen and dining room. So basically what he's told me about the history of homes and whatnot, this was coal, and it was natural gas before us, and insulation was so cheap that they just didn't put much thought into insulating them well.
Fuel was so cheap.
Fuel was so cheap. That's what I meant to say. Yeah, insulation was so... Apparently the insulation was too much money because it was wool and...
Well, my grandpa built a brand new house in 1955, and nobody, him or nobody, had even thought about insulation. It just wasn't.
Yeah.
So he thought it was burning too much oil, so he went in later and had it blown in. But nobody, even in 1955, they didn't think about it. Now, we have a house that was built in in the 40s, and it was a wealthy person, and that house was built with insulation, new wool. The old company,
Yeah.
that was built with insulation, but they didn't really do as good of a job as anybody would now. They just, it was insulated, but so it existed, but not everybody did it.
Yeah. So that one hole's got an extra block of wood. I guess we'll probably have to run down and cut one more. But we've got some extra, and now we finally have to go cut 17 more holes anyway. Now I'll try and show you this next step. There's one hole that they moved for some reason. They changed their mind, they hit a knot, I don't know. But I have a 2-inch hole saw. The hole saw has a spade or a drill bit in the center, see that? And we're going to go ahead and knock that one out the rest of the way rather than try to guess on the depth of it. And you can pick up hole saws. Harbor Freight even has them. In fact, this kit probably came from there. Maybe your doorknob set, something like that. You just want to make sure it's going to match your wood dowel. The wood dowel's maxed out at 2 inches. So this...
Oh no!
Until you're on top of it.
It's somebody else did something.
Okay.
It's not 2-inch at all. See?
Oh.
So that's not going to work. We could put a little piece in here and then put wood putty. So let me go get. So we didn't waste anything by knocking that through because it wasn't going to work here anyway. So let me make one about a 1/2 inch. Start out with 1/2 inch. We'll just set it in there and nail it in, and then see they damaged this. This could have been an electrician or something.
Yeah, that's what I was just thinking.
So this wasn't even them.
Mm-hmm.
So.
Yeah, definitely could have been.
So, all that time we took putting this together.
That's how it goes sometimes. It's fine.
So
right here, there's all closet space right here. We've got this mystery spot, and we thought if we don't check right here, there could be $1 million in there. If we do check, it'll just be empty, or it'll be the neighbor buried in there or something. But why didn't they make that space go all the way through both closets on either side and at the staircase, where they could have gone through just like they did on this? It seems very odd to me. On another note, the kitchen is right underneath that attic. It's a great space to have a bathroom. So you can kind of make it out here if you look. Right up there. That's where they used to have another doorway. They changed. Well, they added a bathroom in the 50s and did some other things. But they didn't save the door. These doors are so hard to find, and they're a lot of money. So it would have been nice to have another door, because when you leave this area where everything's all original, you go down there and there's the bathroom with a 1950s door on it. So now we're doing the same thing in these sections because he went downstairs to go see about another method. So let me show you here. We've gone ahead, put our glue in there and swirled it around. Look at that. Doing the same thing, matching up that grain. I'm wondering about even maybe just staining that. Trouble is, where the doorway was, there's nothing. So what you can do, he says this is 2 1/4 inch. What he's going to do instead is you can actually cut out the correct size out of a board and just fill that center hole. So that's 2 1/4. I have a 2 1/4 bit, and we'll still be able to get it done today. And then we actually have less, whereas if we filled the 1/4 inch gap with wood filler, it would be noticeable, but you know, for the purpose, it would have been okay.
Actually, you know what?
He's changed his mind again.
When you cut a 2 1/4 hole out of the floor,
You end up with 2 1/8.
that's the biggest cutter we have, which is about what they were trying to cut there.
Yeah.
Then you end up with a smaller. So let's, if at another locale we have about 2 3/8, we'll make the plug out of that later.
Yeah. So like what you do with drywall is you make your patch fit the hole. So what you can do is bring your bit, drill this to the size that you can max it out at or whatever. So if we could find a 2 1/2 inch, we could just recut that 2 1/2. Take a piece of wood, just like this, cut a hole in it, take the hole that you cut out and drop it in that space.
Yeah. My second idea won't work. Now we're on to the third.
The fact that this project's getting done in one day, or mostly one day, of filling the holes, is miraculous, because we get sidetracked, and like I said, all that up and down the stairs, you leave the room, you go in another room, you see something else that takes 1 second, and it turns into a half an hour. Now, if you're doing this on a wall, don't be surprised if you lose your light bulbs, as in they short out, because those filaments don't like to be being banged and vibrated. They have high use ones, but we can't work in this space with no light.
We can't afford those shop duty ones.
Yeah.
Come on.
Like $4 a piece.
Well,
maybe 2.5. I don't know.
We bought a pallet of light bulbs. We got them down to, I think, 9 cents.
Yeah.
And then shop duty lights like $4.49. So, you know, for 9 cents isn't normal, but just.
That's all right.
Well, if you hit it.
I'll probably have to paint it, because I don't really want to have a patch the shape of a door down at the other end.
A lot nicer than it was.
Yeah. Which, what you can do, like I was talking about, making your piece cut to fit the patch. Put this down. Hope I don't lose it behind there. So because this opening is near the end, I could actually take these out and stagger every other one if it doesn't break. But this house says it was built in the 1800s on our title work. But there's a door opening going all the way down to the bottom. So if all of a sudden I just put in some patch pieces here, that's going to show. And because they didn't cut this that length, I don't know. I'll probably just try and fix it as cheap as I can. But you can see it'll make quite the difference. Oh, I can just see like a mannequin and a sewing table tucked in the corner back here. Like I said, we end up leaving the room. We come back, we see a little job that needs to be done. My curtain valance was sitting here. I didn't get it on last time because I got called away for something else. You get distracted. So while he's downstairs cutting more pieces or doing whatever he went after, I went ahead and got that hung. So that's a nice job done. And then I'm done with this, so I can clean the glue off my finger. Now, if I remember correctly, it's been too long and I wasn't super involved with the houses back then. He said that there was a cardboard type material up here, and I think they had blown in insulation on that side of it. And I think he relocated that to other areas, stuffing it down in any hollows and cavities. So we were able to do this insulation when we did the wiring and different things to upgrade it. So it's definitely, the whole house in general, spending less fuel, a lot more energy efficient, and definitely warmer than it ever was before. So now he thinks he's got it finally perfectly figured out. He is going to drill the hole so that it's nice and clean. And then he thinks, he's changed his mind again, that he may cut the circle out on a jigsaw. And I know not everybody has that handy. Ooh, I have a, he was talking about the scroll saw that's home. I have a jigsaw downstairs.
Oh, we do it right now then.
And I have a sander.
That way, if you make, say you had a 2 3/8 inch hole
this is the problem that he's thinking about, is that bit.
If you do it with a jigsaw, you don't end up with the hole in the middle to have to fill in with wood putty. That's what I'm thinking. So I get smarter as the day goes on. This
isn't like living space. It's not going to be, you know, anything. But he wants to make it as nice as he can. Now, if you haven't already seen the video on this type of floor, look back through the home improvement household repairs playlist. This floor was just like this, and the closet was exactly like this. But this floor had paint splatters all over because somebody spray painted, and they painted the room knowing they were going to lay down carpet, and they made a huge mess. It was a labor-intensive, on my hands and knees work of scraping it and cleaning it, but it turned out super good. We're going to do the same thing in there. I'm going to clean it with the Zep floor stripper. It's commercial heavy duty. Spread it on, brush it, rinse it off with a sponge. A couple good rinsings that way. Let it dry for a day or two, and then put the Minwax flooring clear coat over it. And 2 coats of that, and it'll be
You can see what happened to somebody.
Done and easy.
They hit the floor joist.
Oh.
So you can't make it too deep. We have to make it out of that board that I said I didn't want.
Yep.
So it doesn't go so far.
Yeah, that's what they did. The floor joists go the opposite way, just like that living room does, and it sits on the sill.
All right. Well,
That's why your load-bearing walls can't be taken down.
Let me get that jigsaw then.
All right.
Where is that?
Porch.
Yeah.
So that little piece found came in real handy. So what he's gonna do, he took our hole saw apart so that he can have the 2 1/4 inch diameter, and he's gonna draw it out, and he's just gonna cut it with the jigsaw. And this is a jigsaw that I had gotten a long time ago for doing other things. You don't want to have to go out and buy tools for this. You could just do it the other way. Anyway. And the reason you can't just replace the board is it's tongue and groove. It's very labor intensive to do that. This is not going to create... The advantage to that spot is the floor joist that's underneath it. It wouldn't just fall in.
On the steps.
Steps.
Another blade?
I don't know.
Dude.
I don't know where that stuff's at.
There's no teeth left on it.
What?
Yeah.
Oh, maybe it's a
all
fine
burned
one.
up.
Yeah, it got hot on something.
Yeah, that's not for metal.
So whether you've had blown-in insulation inside of your floors, your ceilings, your walls inside of your home, if it's a floor patch like this that needs to be filled, or if it's a wood patch in your siding to replace a broken plastic plug from previous blown-in insulation jobs, this video will show you everything you needed to get the job done, to button up the house for the winter, to maybe restore a hole or make a new space. Thanks for watching, everybody, and we'll see you next time. Bye-bye.